Welcome to the Owen School. I'm Professor Joe Ryan and I work in the area of strategy and strategic change. I want to explore with you today an important topic. We want to inventory 10 very common problems in driving or leading strategic change. What's interesting, if you look at the chart that you can see here, this chart was first put together in 1991 at the Wharton School where I was teaching. Later, I went to INSEAD outside of Paris and taught for a couple years. Same chart, same issues. In 2015, I taught at Georgia Institute of Technology. Same chart, same issues. Here at Owen, since 2016, we've seen the same 10 problems come up over and over. Sadly, we don't have great insights and solutions to these common dilemmas. Here at Owen, we put these tough issues on the table and we actually try to work to look at solutions to these problems. So let's quickly inventory them in the spirit of these are some of the inevitable points of resistance that you will find when strategies stall at your firm. The first is the senior leadership team really not stepping up and doing their job properly. That's being very direct and blunt about it. It's inadequate strategic thinking at the top and the middle of the organization. Being out of touch with discontinuous market changes, being out of touch with threats that you face, or equally, as you have in a firm like GE that's going through a dramatic restructuring of the firm at the moment, falling prey to over-optimism and what has been called the dangers of the success theater. So inadequate strategic thinking is a killer in the strategy and strategic change process. We need to be very externally focused. We need a lot of outside-in thinking, not falling prey just to an inside-out point of view driven by current operations. The second potential problem is a firm launching key initiatives with high-potential managers leading them from the middle of the organization, but there's flimsy top management support. So the strategic initiatives are under-sponsored. This is a very, very common problem, particularly in mature firms. It's less a problem in startups or emerging growth firms, but it's a terrifically common problem that we find in the mature firms. The third potential problem area is strategies not having an explicit implementation plan. Very simply put, having a good strategy, but it's not translated into project terms. It's not translated into a critical path, if you will. So upgrading the project management capabilities is a core requirement in managing change. Many firms today build a strategic project office to accommodate this. We've seen this particularly in firms that have deep IT capabilities, or we've seen this in technology companies where there are hundreds of discrete projects going on that need to be coordinated and managed in an organized portfolio. So that project management office is oftentimes a success factor that helps you overcome this problem of not having an implementation model. The fourth potential problem is the artificial and in some cases dysfunctional separation of planning and thinking and actually doing the work. We've fallen into the trap that strategy is in one domain and operations is in another domain. This is fallacial thinking. We need actually to have, there are two sides of the same coin. A strategy worth its salt has to be translated into operational terms, and no firm has been able to grow successfully just by doing operational problem solving. So we need to marry thinking and doing. We need to not think of strategy just as smart talk. We need to bridge these domains and actually think of strategy as smart actions. Today, given the enormous impact of technology, most firms manage their core business and at the same time launch new initiatives. The problem we've seen at the Owen School is firms have entirely too many initiatives. We tend to launch new initiatives but not sunset old initiatives. So a rigorous approach to prioritizing strategy and change initiatives is a prerequisite for success. This leads to the next item, the sixth item, is the need to actually kill projects, sunset projects, and then redirect resources to more promising areas. This requires that the firm have rigorous decision-making skills and candor in their resource allocation processes. All too often, that type of candor, that type of straight talk has been absent in resource allocation processes. The seventh factor really deals with the organization structure at a macro level and the organization processes, the key jobs at a micro level. Strategy has to be executed through people and through organization processes. Organizations are oftentimes a barrier, particularly to strategies that are aimed to move into new product areas or new geographies. Strategies that are innovative in nature are oftentimes hamstrung by a outdated organization structure and an outdated set of organizational roles and practices. So organization development is a central building block in the managing strategic change process. The eighth potential problem area really concerns incentives, and incentives rewarding the wrong behavior. The problem of not designing appropriate resources to design appropriate activities. So incentives are a major lever that needs to be managed well, and many firms have common problems there. The last two common problems that we've seen, item 9, is not managing change effectively, not having an energizing story to launch the initial change initiative, not having the courage to work through the messy middle in a change initiative. When you hit the wall, Murphy's Law happens, projects go off the rails. The ability to have hands-on leadership and sort of pivot and redirect. So managing change is a remarkably complicated set of skills which involve the need for strategic clarity as well as engaging the workforce and then having the candor and the courage to learn in real time when problems and projects go south. The last factor, item 10, really deals with faulty communication, sort of over-promising and under-delivering, pie-in-the-sky kind of communication about the change in the strategy initiatives. What we found at the Owen School is pragmatic, realistic, concrete communications, rallying cries that engage the workforce around real initiatives and real threats that we face. A firm that has been very effective at sort of avoiding all of these traps is the U.S. firm Southwest Airlines. They have a very crisp rallying cry, get the plane off the ground. At the same time, they've been able to make major innovative plays. They've rebranded the airline. They've made a major market entrance into the Caribbean. So Southwest is a firm with a strong and a coherent corporate culture, highly engaged workforce, a firm that has been adept at managing resistance that we see in these factors. We design our programs so that we bring best current thinking, but we allocate time to really unpack these factors in your firm. So we are very application-oriented, very diagnostic in that sense. It's a roll-your-sleeves-up environment. And over the course of a couple days working with colleagues, you should be able to develop realistic action plans to help you avoid some of these problems. We look forward to seeing you in the near future.